Okay, after getting that glued into your journal, you can pull out your assignment. If you don't already have an assignment, then you can go get one. This is going to be homework and remembering 2.3. Let's first take a look at the homework side. If you're paying attention, this is going to go pretty quickly. You can write decimal numbers. You know how to do that. So we're going to skip 1 through 9. You can do that part on your own. I love numbers 10 through 15. It says circle the value that is not equivalent to the others. Remember, you're supposed to leave out the color we used that day. Which one is not equivalent? Make sure you highlight that in red. So it's one of these things is not like the other. Remember? So let's just take a look at, let's go with number 14. Number 14. I have 39 hundredths. Is that the same as this one? 0.3, 0.39, 0.390, and nothing. Is that the same? Yes, because I could fly in a 0 the hero. So far, these are the same. So which means one of these ones is not the right one. This says 39 hundredths or 390 thousandths. So, which one of these is not right? 39 hundredths or 39 thousandths? Remember, this says 390 thousandths. So it is not that one. This is the one that is not equivalent. All of these are the same because I could drop the zeros and I have 39 hundredths, 39 hundredths, and 39 hundredths. So, number 14, that is the answer. So you have to be really careful as you go through these. Let's try let's go with 15. I have 4 hundredths and 40 hundredths. We already know those are not the same. So now we got to figure out what are these ones compared to those. So this one, 0.04. 0.04. And they just have a bunch of zeros at the end. So it is this one that is not like the others. It's not equivalent. You'll have to do 10 through 13 on your own. On these compare, you're going to write greater than or less than. That means none of them will be equal to. When you do these, it's pretty easy. We've done these in our journal. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 20. Number 20. 0 and 0 both in the ones place value. So 0, 0, decimal, decimal, 8, 8, 3, 3, 6, nothing. This didn't end in the same place value. So you would need to fly in a 0 the hero. And 6 thousandths was greater than 0 thousandths. Okay? So it would read 836 thousandths is greater than 830 thousandths. Sorry about that. There's the 0. Okay. We are going to work through number 25 and 26 and 27. You're going to be very careful on it. Let's use our red to look through the story problem. A store had the same amount of 5 fabrics. The chart shows how much of each fabric is left. Use the data to answer each question. So this is what was left over. So number 25 says, the store sold the most of which fabric? That does not mean you're looking for the greater one here. If they sold the most, then you would have the least amount left over. So I think it'd be super important to write left over at the top of that chart so that you think it through. So I'm looking for the smallest number here because if they have a smaller number left over, it means they sold more. So which one of these is the smallest decimal? I think they're all 0 in the ones place, so that's nice to compare. 0.5, 0.4, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4. Again, we're looking for the smaller one, so it's going to be the 4s that we're focused on. So I can cover up those other ones and focus on just these two. So I have 0.492 and 0.48. Well, they don't end in the same place value, so I'm going to sneak in a red 0 there real quick. 0.480, 0.492. So which one is smaller? 0.480. So they must have sold the most of the black fabric because it has the least amount left. So the answer to number 25, the store sold the most of which fabric? Black. fabric. Then it says explain. Because it has the least left over. Number 26, the store sold the least of which fabric. So now you're looking for which one. See, this is confusing. This is why I'm helping you. You're not looking for the least number. You're looking for which one had the most left over. It means it didn't sell as much. So which one of these is the greatest? 0.5. We know it's not black. We also know it's not blue because that was one of the smaller ones too. So 0.5, 0.6, or 0.5. This one, 0.6. The store sold the least of which fabric? Yellow fabric. And explain. Because it has the most left over. And then number 27, the same amount of which fabrics is left. So it means two of these are actually the same amount and you have to find them. We know it's not yellow. We know it's not black. So now you have to look at these and decide which of these two are the same amount. 0.510, 0.492, 0.51 nothing. Which of those two have the same amount? And then you'll have to explain that on your own. I wanted to spend some time making sure you understood what that story problem is asking. So make sure you label the chart, use your red when necessary, and now we get a little bit of remembering help. I think it's super important for you to remember how to do a lot of these fraction problems. Make sure your name and number and the date are where they're supposed to be on both sides. I'll say it again. Make sure your name and number and the date are on both sides. So, numbers 1 and 2 you have to estimate, but it says to round each mixed number to the nearest whole number. Use your red, the nearest whole number. So, it's like thinking about a table for each one. So, all you have to do is think, is 3 7/8 closer to 3 or the next number up? So, you just draw a quick table. Here's 3. Here's 4, because that's the next number up. I'm just looking at this one. And 7/8. Where would 7/8 be right here? Well, halfway would be 4/8. So 7/8 might be maybe about there. So is it closer to 3 or 4? The answer is closer to 4. So I'm just going to write it right here. 4 plus, now I'm going to draw another table for 4 2/3. Let's do that one. I don't know, up here. So I put the first number, which is 4, and then I go to the next number up, which is 5, and 2/3. What would thirds be halfway in the middle? It'd be 1.5 thirds, and I have 2 of them, so I'm like right here. Closer to 4 or closer to 5? Closer to 5. So my estimate is 9. Now to find the actual sum, I have to stack it up, find common denominators, and find the final answer. So let's look at number 2 again. Let's estimate. Let's draw a table for this one. There's 7. Next number up would be 8. Where would 5/8 be? This would be 4/8, right in the middle. So 5/8 would be about there. It's closer to 8. It's subtraction this time. 1 1/2. You don't have to draw a table for this one. You know that 1 1/2 we round up if we're halfway in the middle. So it's going to be rounding up to 2. So the answer should be close to 6 when you're done. But to find the real difference, you have to do what? Stack it up and find common denominators. You make that equals bar really long so that you can use your robot voice. I know you can do this if you work hard. On number 3, don't panic when it says, explain how you know your answer is reasonable. Put a red box around reasonable and underline it in the question. Why is it reasonable? So you're just going to solve it. Look for this phrase, how much longer? Highlight that in red. How much longer? That means I'm going to be doing what? Subtraction. So I'm going to be stacking this up, subtracting this, finding the final answer, putting the answer on the line, but then it has the second part. Why is the answer reasonable? Don't panic. All that means is use rounding to prove that your estimate is close, or to prove that your answer is close to the estimate. So use rounding. Just do what we just did on numbers 1 and 2. Draw some tables. Figure that out. You do need to do number 4 and 5, but you do not need to do stretch your thinking. Good luck to you on your assignment. Sorry about the technical difficulties with your workbook pages. Make sure that that is glued completely into your journal like this, kind of skew-wampus, and that number 5 is definitely in there as well. Don't forget to use number 5 on Think Central if you need help as well. Thanks, everyone.